Some background before I start. I am in my 30s. I have a bit of gray in my beard and regularly wear my hair in a ponytail. I retired from the military, and after a lifetime of being a non-commissioned officer, apparently I have an air of, I know what I'm doing, even when I clearly do not know what I'm doing. Add to this that my primary job is horse training for dressage, so I tend to dress up a bit due to the nature of my clientele. What this means is that it's very common for me to be wearing slacks, a button-down shirt, and a waistcoat. I get mistaken as management fairly often, though greater than 90% of the time, the people I'm interacting with simply apologize and go on their merry way. Every once in a while, it gets much worse. This happened about 3 weeks ago. I had to have one of the rescue horses euthanized due to an injury that his emaciated body simply could not recover from, and this happened about a month after my elderly mare, who was one of the best horses I've ever had the honor of knowing, had passed due to old age. Suffice to say, I was in a funk, but needs must, so off to the market I went for dinner supplies. As I am browsing the shelves looking for an item I can no longer recall, I hear someone clear their throat in the obvious, "give me your attention" way. Assuming that I am in the way of their buggy, I step closer to the shelves without looking up, cue a second, louder throat clearing. I make the mistake of glancing in the direction of the sound when I see a stereotypical Karen standing behind her buggy, arms crossed, looking at me very disapprovingly. While I do not recall exactly what was said through the entirety of our interaction, a good portion of it is burned into my memory. I'll be me, and she'll be Kay. For Karen, obviously.
Now you acknowledge me? I've been standing here for 10 minutes.
Huh?
You gonna help me or not?
Well, given how rude you're being when we've just met, I'd rather not.
How dare you speak to a customer like that? What's wrong with you?
At this point, I briefly worry that she is one of my new clients at the stable, but quickly decide that if she is, that I can stand losing her. Me, still thinking that she might be a new client, but knowing that I always let them all know to address concerns at the stable directly or via my professional number, I'm not working at the moment, so if you got a problem, just leave me a message or swing by the office tomorrow.
This needs to be addressed right now.
Unsure of the exact wording here, but this was the gist of it. Well, I doubt that, I respond. She proceeds to prattle on about a rude employee who wouldn't get her some item and how it's no wonder since management is apparently the same way. This is a point where I finally clue in. I believe you're mistaken, as I do not work here.
I don't care if you're on break. You're the manager. Do your job.
I did not say that I was on break. I said that I do not work here.
Yes, you do, but you won't for long. Give me your regional manager's number right now.
Right. I will get right on that for you. Sod off. She sputters about rudeness and how loyal a customer she is, etc., etc., and I reiterate one last time that I don't work here, decide that whatever I was looking for is probably unnecessary, and turn to walk away. This is where she screws up. Big time. After multiple combat tours, I don't deal with large public spaces well, and I deal even less well with being pushed around, grabbed, pulled, or other very sudden actions directed towards me. She comes up behind me, grabs my right shoulder, and attempts to turn me around. I know she was talking/yelling at the time, but I don't know what she was saying. Out of reflex, upon feeling the pull of my shoulder, I rotate my arm around hers, trap her hand with my other hand, and step through while pulling. This puts her face first on the floor, and I've got her arm behind, levered behind her, with my knee on her back. As soon as I become aware, maybe 2 seconds after the initial grab, I let go, step back, and figure I'm screwed. She starts bawling about me breaking her arm. It wasn't broken, there was no actual damage to her except a bruise where her face hit the floor, which causes the employee to come running. He asks if she is okay and what happened, and she screams about how she was just asking for help, and I grabbed her and threw her down. He looks at me, he knows me because this is near my home and I am there weekly, and I tell him to get the manager and to call the police. The shift manager arrives before the employee can even take 2 steps and asks what happened. As this manager knows me very well, I teach his daughter to ride and we hang out fairly often. He hears what she says and responds with, "When the police get here, they can review the security video," then asks the employee to escort me to the manager's office until the police arrive. At this point, I'm figuring that I am well and truly buggered. About 10 minutes later, still waiting for the police to arrive, I hear the commotion. Karen slams the door open and proceeds to scream at me at the top of her lungs. The first thought in my head was, well, I'm done. I stand up, square my shoulders, and turn on my sergeant voice. "Quiet, you ragged cunt. You assaulted me. You grabbed and pulled, and I didn't survive 3 tours of combat just to be treated like trash in a supermarket. Is that how you treat all the people around you, or just the ones you think are below you because they work in a place like this?" At this point, she is silent and has gone full deer in headlights like a private who just got off the bus for basic training. I continue, not noticing that there are now 2 police officers nearby. "Nothing gives you the right to treat people like trash, let alone put your grubby hands on them. You've probably gotten away with it before. It's just your sodding luck that you put your hands on a veteran with PTSD this time. Now sit the fuck down, don't open your cock holster until someone asks you to." She sits down, quickly and quietly. The officers enter the room fully, and I sit back down. One of them takes her out of the office. The other closes the door and asks me for my version of what happened. After I finish, he steps out, confers with his partner, then they speak to the manager and toddle off to watch the security video. A few minutes later, they walk back into the office. I assume that I'm to be arrested, so I turn, about to put my hands behind my back because I do not want to give them any reason to view me as a threat. They ask if I want to press charges. I turn around to see that they have her in cuffs. They explain that they came out from seeing the video. She verbally assaulted one of them and then spit in his face when he told her that she could not press charges because she was the aggressor. They were arresting her for assaulting the officer and wanted to know if I wanted to press charges for her assault on me. I was tired, I was hungry, and I just wanted to go home. I told them as much, and they left. My buddy, the manager, came in after and gave me a ride home because I was really in no shape to be driving. Too long didn't read. Karen assumes I'm a lazy manager, assaults me, which goes poorly for her, ends up being arrested for spitting in the face of the police officer who responded to the scene. Oh, Karen.